Hello, hello, hello. Yes, we're all working there. Jolly good. Splendid. Hello, Kiddlywinks. We're going to be doing a little bit of recording today. One of the problems with being a small audiobook production company like me is that you don't make a lot of money, so you can't pay a lot of money, and sometimes your actors who are so enthused to be actors suddenly realize that there's not a lot of money in it and there's a lot of work, and they just get bored and drift away. So we get what happened here last week. We lost one of our actors, and so you can see this little red blotch here in chapter 5, where sort of we were ready, we were all done, and now we have to go back and change an actor, and my editor is going to be very angry at me because he has to go back and redo chapter 5. But I am now going to be Mr. Quincy Morris, the southern gentleman who's going to be hitting on Miss Lucy all the way through the book. Oh, yeah, give me some of that fine northern Philly flesh. He likes it. That's kind of the voice I'm going to do, to be honest. We're going to do 2 chapters, chapter 5 and chapter 12, because as we look through, we've got a couple other voices that are necessary for those ones, but they're on their way. But Quincy pops up in chapter 5, chapter 12, and we are on the schedule. We're supposed to be handing in chapter 12 this week. I have to play a bit of catch up because it's been so hot in Japan that I have not been able to record for more than 2 months because I can't get in my recording booth. Now, let us begin with chapter 5, which is pretty simple, pretty easy. This is Miss Lucy Westerner talking to her friend Mina about, I think, the 3 men that have been hitting on her and trying to get her to marry them. And Mr. Quincy Morris was one of them. So I'll be doing my very best Southern American gentleman. Followers of the channel will know that my American accents are a little bit hit and miss. I'm not necessarily great at that, but yeah, I'll do my best. Damn this Japanese air for killing my throat. My God. There's a reason that most Japanese houses have like air purifiers in the middle of their house. We don't have one, but we should. Okay. I'm used to that clean, dry Australian air because we keep all our industrial stuff far, far, far away, and we don't have volcanoes around. Okay. Switching over here, we can see the shortcuts. This is just a list of the lines. I know chapter 5 pretty well, so I'm pretty happy reading it off of this. That's the word total of Quincy Morris. So you can see it's not a huge character, right? The short stories that I read out on the channel are like 1,000 words, and they last maybe 6.5 minutes. So it won't be a massive amount of work to record all the lines of Quincy. I'm far more worried about how good the voice is than I am being able to get the work done. Okay. Mommy me momu mommy momu mommy me momu mommy me momu mommy me momu mommy me momu ma mommy me momu mama. Okay. Warm-ups are almost pointless with this air being as bad as it is. Okay. Here we go. You ready? We will start with the traditional 20 seconds of silence for our editor. Miss Lucy, I know I ain't good enough to regulate the fixings of your little shoes, but I guess if you wait till you find a man that is, you will go join them 7 young women with the lamps when you quit. Won't you just hitch up alongside of me and let us go down the long road together, driving in double harness? Well, Lucy, you are an honest-hearted girl, I know. I should not be here speaking to you as I am now if I did not believe you clean grit right through to the very depths of your soul. Tell me, like one good fellow to another, is there anyone else that you care for? and if there is, I'll never trouble you a hair's breadth again, but will be, if you'll let me, a very faithful friend. That's my brave girl. It's better worth being late for a chance of winning you than being in time for any other girl in the world. And don't cry, my dear. If it's for me, I'm a hard nut to crack, and I'll take it standing up. If that other fellow doesn't know his happiness, well, he better look for it soon, or he'll have to deal with me. Little girl, your honesty and pluck have made me a friend, and that's rarer than a lover. It's more selfish, anyhow. My dear, I'm going to have a pretty lonely walk between this and Kingdom Come. Won't you give me one kiss? It'll be something to keep off the darkness now and then. You can, if you like, for that other good fellow, or you could not love him, hasn't spoken yet. I'm going to do that sentence again. I don't think that quite made sense. You can, if you like, for that other good fellow, or you could not love him, hasn't spoken yet. What? You can, if you like, for that other good fellow, or you could not love him, hasn't spoken yet. Little girl, I'll hold your hand, and you've kissed me, and if these things don't make us friends, nothing ever will. Thank you for your sweet honesty to me, and goodbye. Outside Gaming says, I'm busy for the next half hour, but if you're still here after that, I want to come have a listen. I'm probably going to be done by then, mate. But you can always check the video afterwards. Thanks for dropping in and saying g'day. I appreciate it. Oh my God, it's already so hot in this room. I'm just going to blast myself with this little fan. Cool me down, because I'm a delicate flower. Yeah. Honestly, Japanese heat, it is something special, man. I thought I would be well prepared for it coming from Australia, but by the gods, you add tropical to the word heat, and it is a special kind of hell. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Part 2. 25th May. My dear Art, we've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies and dressed one another's wounds after... That was terrible. Sorry, start again. We've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies and dressed one another's wounds after trying to land in at the Marquises and drunk healths on the shore of Titicaca. There are more yams to be told, and other wounds to be healed, and other health to be drunk. Won't you let this be at my campfire tomorrow night? I have no hesitation in asking you, as I know a certain lady is engaged to a certain dinner party, and that you are free. There will only be one other, our old pal at the Korea, Jack Seward. He's coming, too, and we both want to mingle our weeps over the wine cup, and to drink a health with all our hearts to the happiest man in all the wide world, who has won the noblest heart that God has made, and best worth winning. We promise you a hearty welcome, and a loving greeting, and a health as true as your own right hand. We shall both swear to leave you at home if you drink too deep to a certain pair of eyes. Come. Yours as ever and always, Quincy P. Morris. How does that sound? Do I have any Americans in the audience there? Does that sound all right? Or is that too horrible, too over the top? I don't know. Were there any bits that made you cringe while you were listening? Whoa. Wiping off the sweat. Yeah. I mean, it sounded okay to me. Maybe not flawless, but okay. All right, so we'll leave that file and we'll move on to chapter 12. C5, New Quincy C5 Master. There we go. And then we'll export its copy into another file. I am trying to keep the accent going, so I don't have to go and find it again. There we go. Chapter 5 is in the books, ready for editing. So we'll move on to Chapter 12, which is a little more intense. Here we are dealing with Miss Lucy has been bitten by the foul Lord Dracula, that count from Transylvania who sups on the blood of the innocent young ladies. And they are looking for a blood transfusion. Van Helsing is there trying to deal with what's going on, and we're gonna jump in there. This is where Quincy jumps in like a hero and decides he's gonna be the man that's gonna solve all these problems. He's gonna give his blood for a start. Okay. The traditional 20 seconds of silence. What's wrong with me, anyhow? Well, I guess art is the cause. I think I came just in the nick of time. You know you have only to tell me what to do. When you come back, Jack, may I have 2 words with you all to ourselves? Jack Seward, I don't want to shove myself in anywhere where I've no right to go, but this is no ordinary case. You know I love that girl and wanted to marry her, but although that's all past and gone, I can't help feeling anxious about her all the same. What is it that's wrong with her? Well, the Dutchman, and a fine old fellow he is, I can see that, said the time you 2 came into the room that you must have another transfusion of blood, and that both you and he were exhausted. Now, I know well that you medical men speak in camera, and that a man must not expect to know what they consult about in private, but this is no common matter, and whatever it is, I have done my part. Is that not so? I take it that both you and Van Helsing have done already what I did today. Is not that so? And I guess Art was in it too. When I saw him 4 days ago down at his own place, he looked queer. I've not seen anything pulled down so quick since I was on the Pampas and had a mare that I was fond of go to grass all in one night. One of those big bats that they call vampires had got at her in the night. What's with all this gorge and the vein left open, there wasn't enough blood in her to let her stand up, and I had to put a bullet through her there as she lay. Jack, if you may tell me without betraying confidence, Arthur was the first. Is not that so? And how long has this been going on? 10 days! Well, then I guess, Jack Seward, that poor pretty creature that we all love has had put in her veins within that time the blood of 4 strong men. Man alive, her whole body wouldn't hold it. What took it out? What took it out? Count me in. You and the Dutchman will tell me what to do, and I'll do it. That feels better. That feels like I've got a better handle on the character there. I might redo Chapter 5. You Quincy C12. This is the copy, right? I think. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Oops. And a Masters, C12. There we go. All right. Now we'll redo chapter 5. I think we can do that better now that we've got a better grip on the voice. As traditional, 20 seconds of silence. Miss Lucy, I know I ain't good enough to regulate the fixin's of your little shoes, but I guess if you wait till you find a man that is, you will go join them 7 young women with the lamps when you quit. Won't you just hitch up alongside of me and let us go down the long road together, driving in double harness? Lucy, you are an honest-hearted girl, I know. I should not be here speaking to you as I am now if I did not believe you clean grit right through to the very depths of your soul. Tell me, like one good fellow to another, is there anyone else that you care for? And if there is, I'll never trouble you a hair's breadth again, but will be, if you will let me, a very faithful friend. Well, that's my brave girl. It's better worth being late for a chance of winning you than being in time for any other girl in the world. Ah, don't cry, my dear, if it's for me. Again, sorry. Don't cry, my dear, if it's for me. I'm a hard nut to crack, and I take it standing up. If that other fellow doesn't know his happiness, well, he better look for it soon, or he'll have to deal with me. Ah, little girl, your honesty and pluck have made me a friend, and that's rarer than a lover. It's more selfish, anyhow. Ah, my dear, I'm going to have a pretty lonely walk, but, well, again. My dear, I'm going to have a pretty lonely walk between this and Kingdom Come. Won't you give me one kiss? It'll be something to keep off the darkness now and then. You can, you know, if you like, for that other good fellow, or you could not love him. Hasn't spoken yet. Ah, you can, you know, if you like, for that other good fellow, or you could not love him. Hasn't spoken yet. Little girl, I'll hold your hand, and you've kissed me, and if these things don't make us friends, nothing ever will. Thank you for your sweet honesty to me, and goodbye. "25th May. My dear Art, we've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies, and dressed one another's wounds after trying to landing at the Marquises, and drunk healths on the shore of Titicaca. There are more yarns to be told. There are more yarns to be told, and other wounds to be healed, and other health to be drunk. Won't you let this be at my campfire tomorrow night? I have no hesitation in asking you, as I know a certain lady is engaged to a certain dinner party, and that you are free. There will only be one other, our old pal at the Korea, Jack Seward. He's coming too, and we both want to mingle our weeps over the wine cup, and to drink a health with all our hearts to the happiest man in all the wide world, who has won the noblest heart that God has ever made, and best worth winning. We promise you a hearty welcome, and a loving greeting, and a health as true as your own right hand. We shall both swear to leave you at home if you drink too We shall both swear to leave you at home if you drink too deep to a certain pair of eyes. Come. Yours, as ever and always, Quincy P. Morris. All right. That was pretty good, I think. New Quincy C5 Master. Yeah, we'll copy over that. Thank you. And actually, now that we've got a fair grip on his voice, I might move on to the next bit. You probably saw in that folder there was also new Mina files. That was for a completely different reason, though. Sometimes it's just that actors can't handle the work and the low pay, and sometimes it's technical reasons, which was unfortunately the case with our Mina, who did a fabulous job, and she's a great actor, but the technical level of the recordings was just not enough, unfortunately. Okay, chapter 15, real quick. Me too. Me too. Well, that's Frank anyhow. I'll answer for the professor. I don't quite see his drift, but I swear he's honest, and that's good enough for me. That's fair enough. Easy. Easy, easy. 20 seconds of silence. Me too. Me too. Oh, me too. Well, that's Frank anyhow. I'll answer for the professor. I don't quite see his drift, but I swear he's honest, and that's good enough for me. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Easy peasy. Chapter 15. We don't actually have any there yet. Okay. There we go. Spotted well. Was that the Masters? No. This is the Masters. Yeah, look at that. New folder. C15 Masters. Bloop. C15. Oh my god, I'm sweating so much already. It's worth it. It's worth it to get the art right. Okay, 16. Professor, I answered for you. Your word is all I want. I wouldn't ask such a thing ordinarily. I wouldn't so dishonor you as to imply a doubt, but this is a mystery that goes beyond any honor or dishonor. Is this your doing? Now, we're going to have to find that. We're going to have to find that line because I need some context. Okay, so... it was just quarter before 12 o'clock when we got into the churchyard over the low wall. The night was dark with occasional gleams of moonlight between the dense of the heavy clouds and the sky of the sky. We all came together close together with Van Helsing slightly in front as he led the way. When he come down to the tomb, I looked well for Arthur, for I felt the proximity to a place laden with so sorry a memory would upset him, but he ruins it well. I took it the very mystery of the proceeding was in some way a counteraction to his grief. The professor unlocked the door and, seeing a natural hesitation amongst us for very reason, solved the difficulty by entering first himself. The rest of us followed, and he closed the door, and then he lit a dark lantern and pointed to the coffin. Arthur stepped forward hesitatingly. Van Helsing said to me, "You left me here yesterday. Was the body of Miss Lucy in that coffin?" "It was." The professor turned to the rest, saying, "You hear, and yet there is no one who does not believe we." He took the screwdriver again, took off the lid of the coffin. Arthur looked on, very pale but silent. When the lid was removed, he stepped forward. He evidently did not know that there was a leaden coffin, or at any rate had not thought about it. When he saw the rent in the lead, the blood rushed to his face for an instant, but he quickly fell away again, so that he remained a ghastly witness. He was still silent. Van Helsing forced back the lid and flanged. We all looked in and recalled the coffin was empty. For several minutes, no one spoke a word. The silence was broken by Quincy Morris. For several minutes. They all just stand there looking at this thing, not saying anything for several minutes. What are they, all drunk? They've been tripping? They've taken a little bit of the golden brown texture like sun. All right. So that gives us good context, though. He's like, I don't want to be a dick about this, but this is really weird. Did you do this? Okay. And Lucy's supposed to be in there. Oh, I see. I thought that was Dracula's coffin, but it's Lucy's coffin. Oh, I see. Okay, well. All right. Then, as is tradition, 20 seconds. Professor, I answered for you. Your word is all I want. I wouldn't ask such a thing ordinarily. I wouldn't so dishonor you as to imply a doubt, but this is a mystery that goes beyond any honor or dishonor. Is this your doing? That's pretty good. Happy with that on the first belt. Surprisingly enough, so that's chapter 16, was it? Yes, chapter 16. Okay, and I believe we have some there. Yep, there we go. Whoops. New Quincy C16. Copy? Are we in copies? I think we are. It doesn't really matter as long as there's multiple copies of everything. Nope, that was Masters. Okay. Well, chap 16, and we'll just save that again. There we go. I'll fix that up later. It's not a problem. All right, what do we got next? 17, another short one. How is Art? I see you have been comforting him. Poor old fellow, he needs it. No one but a woman can help a man when he's in trouble of the heart, and he had no one to comfort him. Pardon me. I swallow a lot of air when I'm performing, so I tend to do little burpers in between my lines. I do apologize if you have sensitive, delicate ears. Little girl, you'll never forget that true-hearted kindness. So long as ever you live. Okay, chapter 6. Oh, no. This is 17. Okay. Long chapters. Long chapters. And another diary. The diary is a good idea. The diary is how we all get this. Yeah. Trying to find it. I could just be searching. There we go. Oh my boy, I'm so sweaty. They say in the tropics that it's the humidity that kills you, and I can absolutely see that. For the first time in my life, I am daily drinking sugar-free sports drinks to replace salts and stuff, because I sweat so much just sitting here working. It's not like I'm out there building. There are builders just down the road from us constructing houses every day during this heat. It's amazing. But the Japanese people just don't seem to sweat. Like, they don't even notice this heat. It's insane. Anyway, as I came along the corridor, I saw Mr. Morris looking out the window. He turned as he heard my footsteps. How is Art? He said. Then, noticing my red eyes, he went on, I see you have been comforting him. Poor old fellow, he needs it. No one but a woman can help a man when he is in trouble of the heart, and he had no one to comfort him. Because he was supposed to marry Lucy, and Lucy's a vampire now. Unless they've already killed her, I'm not sure. I wish I could comfort all who suffer from the heart, said the Mina. Kiss the hand, better to kiss me. Little girl, you will never forget that true-hearted kindness, so long as ever you live. Yeah, okay. Hey, just for a change, let's have 20 seconds of silence. How is Art? How is Art? I see you have been comforting him. Poor old fellow, he needs it. No one but a woman can help a man when he is in trouble of the heart, and he has had no one to comfort him. Little girl, you will never forget that true-hearted kindness so long as ever you live. Sensitive, Quincy. Eh? Sensitive. Now, that was 17. Okay, and we are in the copies. New Quincy C17 copy. To go. From. Export so quickly because these are just tiny, tiny little things. Masters C17. New Quincy C17 Master of Puppets is pulling the strings. Dabbing your mind, dabbing your brain. Metallica back when they were good. Anyone old enough to remember that? It's a long time ago. I need some more fan, I'm sorry. Here it is. I always need more fans. I'm a very needy performer. Count me in, Professor. Sorry, I fear I have alarmed you. I shall come in and tell you about it. Okay, let's find... Bloop. Bloop. Count me. There we go, right at there. What's going on? Vampires exist. We have to go hunting. He's a strong'un. He controls animals and stuff. He's a real meanie. He's very bad, unattractive. Unlike the 90s film. You're all young. We're going to go fight Dracula. Now, I'm old, so I don't care if I die. It's fine. But you're all young. You got plenty of life ahead of you. What do you say? Jonathan took Mina's hand. I went through these lines just the other night as our new Mina performed right to the end of the book, which was great, but not quite hitting the tone that my audiobooks hit. Quite often well, not quite often, but a few times over the years, I've gotten complaints from actory people and directory people and stuff like that are all like, you're high school theatre level performing too big, all the emotions, you gotta cool it down a bit. And I'm like, no. First up, I hate those monotone audiobooks. They're boring as hell. And second, I'm trying to make every emotion, every feeling, every meaning of every word as clear as humanly possible, so that everyone can understand these heady old tomes, which are quite thick and dense and hard to understand. So that is the core of what I'm doing as an audiobook producer and as a performer. I'm trying to make everything very, very easy to understand. Okay, so they're talking about going to kill the Drac, and Quincy is just like, yeah, man, I'm in. You had me at killing. He's a lovely man. He's not like that at all. Okay, so what's his next one? We're doing this one, chapter 18. Whoops. Come in, Professor. Sorry, I fear I have alarmed you. Oh. Yips. Is there a comma there? No, it's there. Okay. And now we must settle what we must do. We have here much data. We must proceed to lay out our campaign. We know from the inquiry of Jonathan from Chicago of Whitby came 50 boxes of ours, all of which were delivered to Carfax and blah, 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 blah. Here they were interrupted in a very startling way. Outside the house came the sound of a pistol shot, because Quincy was just shooting at a bat or something, I think. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay, is all that? Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. He's shooting the back. There you go. And he's like, there's no, vote we go have a look right now. Right. And then they're going to see Renfield, probably. Yes. Okay. All right. Great. No problem. All right. Easy. Next section. And just to make everyone happy, 20 seconds. Count me in, Professor. Count me in, Professor. Sorry, fear I have alarmed you. I shall come in and tell you about it. It was an idiotic thing of me to do, and I ask your pardon. Mrs. Harker, most sincerely, I fear I must have frightened you terribly, but the fact is that whilst the professor was talking, there came a big bat and sat on the windowsill. I got such a horror of the damn brutes from recent events that I cannot stand them, and I went out to have a shot, as I've been doing of late of evenings whenever I've seen one. You used to laugh at me for it then, Art. You used to laugh at me for it then, Art. I don't know. I fancy not, for it flew away into the wood. As there is no time to lose, I vote we have a look at this house. Oops. Again. As there is no time to lose, I vote we have a look at his house right now. Time is everything with him, and swift action on our part may save another victim. Me too? Hashtag me too? Sorry, he wouldn't say that. I don't know what's going on there. I'm an idiot. Ignore me! Okay, so that was chapter 18. Lovely. You know what? Let's, wait a minute. No, fair, there go. Me too. There we go. And we'll just delete the end of that, because it's very silly. Okay, it was 18, did I say? Yep, 18. Okay. And we're in Masters. Alrighty. 18. New Quincy C18 Master. And then I swear I'm spending more time sending them to the right places and exporting them properly than I am actually recording the files. Sometimes it's like that with a bunch of little things. Alright, not long to go. Chapter 19. Alright, this is after talking to Renfield. Oh my god, my glasses are fogging up from all this heat. It's terrible. Alright. Now, I have to confess something. I've been a little bit silly with the 20-second silence at the start of every file. I know my editor does not need it. This is a leftover from my own recording times because my software and whatnot is not as good as his. Initially, I had planned for Matche to just do some of the editing to take some of the load off my shoulders so I could put stuff out faster and easier. But as time has gone on, he has proved to be quite a lot better and faster at it than I am. So I'm leaving more and more of it on his young Polish shoulders. So we'll go 10 seconds of silence from now on because he doesn't need the 20. Okay, here we go. Say, Jack, If that man wasn't attempting a bluff, he is about the sanest lunatic I ever saw. I'm not sure, but I believe that he had some serious purpose, and if he had, it was pretty rough on him not to get a chance. Once more, I don't think I got the meaning of that quite right. Say, Jag, if that man wasn't attempting a bluff, he is about the sanest lunatic I ever saw. Now, I'm not sure, but I believe that he had some serious purpose, and if he had, it was pretty rough on him not to get a chance. Much better. Use the second take. Yeah. Good. Okay, and that was 19, was it? Oops. Wrong click. Wrong button. 19. There we go. And we're in the copies. The 19. There we go. Now we'll export that into the masters. C19. So, I mean, honestly, what if we've been at this 45 minutes, we've nearly finished the whole book for this character. You know, it's not huge, it's not difficult, but, you know. I think I can guess the meaning of this line here. Chapter 20. Oops. There we go. Then it's say. There we are. It's been a great day's work, friend Jonathan. Doubtless we are on the track of the missing boxes. We'll find them all in that house, and then our work is near the end. But if there be some missing, we must search until we find them. Then shall we make our final coup and hunt the wretch to his real death? Well sat a while, and all at once Mr. Morris spoke. Say, how are we going to get into that house anyhow? What voice is that? Who's this guy? That's not Mr. Morris. Well, hello, Miss Lucy. I have been a fan of you for quite some time, and I reckon I can take you back to my pig farm, and we can make a happy life together. All right, maybe a different story. That guy can come out. But for the moment, we are Mr. Quincy Morris, and he's quite a serious, honorable, upstanding man, and he's going to say this right now. And that's his, just about his only line in this chapter. But, Art, this is different. There you go, it's right there. We got into the other, answered Lord Godalming quickly. But, Art, this is different. We broke house at Carfax, but we had night and a walled park to protect us. It will be a mighty different thing to commit burglary in Piccadilly, either by day or night. I confess I don't see how we're going to get in unless that agency duck can find us a key of some sort. Piccadilly, I believe, is like central London. It's quite a high-cost, fancier type of place, and there's probably lots of police around and that sort of thing, and you're not going to get away with nonsense like that too easily. Okay, 10 seconds! Say, how are we going to get into that house? Say, how are we going to get into that house? But, Art, this is different. We broke house at Carfax, but we had night and a walled park to protect us. It will be a mighty different thing to commit burglary in Piccadilly, either by day or night. I confess, I don't see how we're going to get in unless that agency duck can find us a key of some sort. That's pretty good. I'll do it again, see if I can find some other meaning. But, Art, this is different. We broke house at Carfax, but we had night and a walled park to protect us. It will be a mighty different thing to commit burglary in Piccadilly, either by day or night. I confess, I don't see how we're going to get in unless that agency duck can find us a key of some sort. Yeah, maybe use the second one. Yeah. There's not a huge difference, to be honest, between the two. But the second one had a few extra layers of meaning, a little bit more shade, you know what I mean? A little bit more light and shade, which is what I'm always looking for in these things. C20 Master. Yes, Master. Okay. And then C20 copy. There we go. Oh my god. I'm going to turn on the big fan for a minute. Oh, it is hot in here, folks. It is hot in here. It got so hot and I got so desperate that at one point I actually sent a trial recording to Matche with 2 fans running in my little recording booth. And he said he could handle it, but you know, I'm a Puritan. I don't want to have to deal with that sort of thing. What if I have to go and re-record something later, and I can't have 2 fans running? Will that change things? Will that bother stuff? That's the sort of thing I think about now. After many, many, many errors over the years. And that's wisdom. That's what wisdom is. It's all the combination of all the times that you messed up real bad and you learned a lesson. Yeah. All right. So, chapter 21. My God. What has happened to him? My God. Apostrophe. There we go. When I opened it, found in the corridor without Arthur and Quincy in pajamas and slippers. The former spoke. That's Arthur. I heard your man call up Dr. Van Helsing and tell him of an accident, so I woke Quincy, or rather called for him, as he was not asleep. Things are moving too quickly and too strangely for sound sleep for any of us these times. I've been thinking that tomorrow night we may not see things as they have been. We have to look back and forward a little more than we have done. May we come in? I nodded and held the door open until they had entered. Then I closed it again. When Quincy saw the attitude and state of the patient and noted the horrible pool on the floor, I hope that's like blood or something, not, you know, wee-wee or poo-poo, he said softly, "My God, what has happened to him? Poor devil. Well, poor bastard. Now, should we disturb her?" Okay, so that first one makes sense. Nice and slow. Should we... There we go, okay. I know the verse now. He's here, and we know his purpose. It may not be too late. Let us be armed the same as we were the other night, but lose no time. There's not an instant to spare. There was no need to put our fear, nay, our conviction, into words. We shared them in common. We all hurried and took from our rooms the same things we had when we entered the Count's house. The professor had his ready, and as we met in the corridor, he pointed to them significantly and said, "They never leave me, and they shall not till this unhappy business is over. Be wise, all my friends, it is no common enemy that we deal with. Alas, the poor dear innocent was Arthur." He stopped. His heart was breaking, and I did not know if rage or terror predominated in his own heart, or if he was just a creepy old man that was like, "She's young and tasty. I want a slice." Outside the Harker's door, it's nothing like that. I'm just being a silly old man. Outside the Harker's door, we paused. Art and Quincy held back, and the latter said, "Should we disturb her?" "We must. If the door be locked, I shall break it in." May it not frighten her terribly. It is unusual to break into a lady's room unless you're drunk. Van Helsing said solemnly, "Oh, it's right, but it's life and death, man. It's life and death." A little comma. Little comma. There we go. thank God the other copy is in the safe. His face lit for a moment and fell out again as it went on. I ran downstairs then, but could see no sign of him. I looked into Renfield's room, but there was no trace except... Again he paused. Go on, said Harker hoarsely. So he bowed his head and moistened his lips with the tongue and added, except the poor fellow is dead. Mrs. Harker raised her head, looking from one to the other as she said solemnly, God's will be done. I could not but feel that Art was keeping back something, but as I took it was with a purpose. I said nothing. Van Helsing turned to Morris and asked, and your friend Quincy, have you any to tell? A little, he answered. It may be much eventually, but at present I cannot tell. I thought it was well to know, if possible, where the Count would go when he left his house. I did not see him, but I saw a bat rise from Renfield's window and flap westward. I expected to see him in some shape go back to Carfax, but he evidently saw some other lair. He will not be back tonight, for the sky is reddening in the east, and the dawn is close. We must work tomorrow. Okay, and that's it for this chapter. Yes, good. Okay. First one's nice and quiet. Second one's probably nice and quiet and worried about being polite. And the third one is just a report on the things that he has noted. Okay, easy. Turn off fan number 1. Turn off fan number 2. Immediately begin to perspire. And, just for fun, 10 seconds of silence. My God, what has happened to him? Poor devil. Should we disturb her? May it not frighten her terribly. It is unusual to break into a lady's room. A little. It may be much eventually, but at present I can't say. I thought it well to know, if possible, where the Count would go when he left the house. I did not see him, but I saw a bat rise from Renfield's window and flap westward. I expected to see him in some shape go back to Carfax, but he evidently sought some other lair. I'll do that again. I expected to see him in some shape go back to Carfax, but he evidently sought some other lair. He will not be back tonight, for the sky is reddening in the east, and the dawn is close. We must work tomorrow. Once again for that speech, I think. A little. It may be much eventually, but at present I can't say. I thought it well to know, if possible, where the Count would go when he left the house. I did not see him, but I saw a bat rise from Renfield's window and flap westward. I expected to see him in some shape go back to Carfax, but he evidently sought some other lair. He will not be back tonight, for the sky is reddening in the east, and the dawn is closed. He will not be back tonight, for the sky is reddening in the east, and the dawn is close. We must work tomorrow. Okay. And that was 21. Wow, we are burning through it here. So good, so good. I'm so happy. Happy to be getting this done. I've got quite a bit of catching up to do, to be honest. Yeah. I'm falling behind the rest of the cast, and that's not good. That's not good at all. Now, granted, they're all playing one character and I'm playing like 7 or something, but still. I think I got a little bit lax, in part because I'm not narrating this one. There is no narration in this one. It's all people's, diary entries and letters and reports and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm just another character. When I'm the narrator, I feel like I'm driving the book and other people sort of insert their bits into it. But in Dracula, it's weird. It feels different. It does. Okay, so let's go. Look here, comma, old fellow. Look here, old fellow, said Morris. When once was in that house, we were found to all close. At any rate, some of us can remain there while the rest find the places of where there may be more earth boxes. Sorry, I was turning on my fan. At Bermondsey and Mile End. I'm really glad that I have some actual English actors, because, dear gods, how would you say that? Bermondsey. You'd say Bermondsey, wouldn't you? Yeah. Lord Godalming stood up. I could be of some use here, he said. I shall warrant my people to have horses and carriages where they will be most convenient. Look here, old fellow, said Morris. It is a capital idea to have all ready in case we want to go horsebacking, but don't you think that one of your snappy carriages with its heraldic adornments in by way of Walworth or Mile End would attract too much attention for our purpose? It seems to me that we ought to take cabs when we go south or east, and even leave them somewhere near the neighborhood we are going to. Okay, let's read that again. We want it smooth for recording. Look here, old fellow. It is a capital idea to have all ready in case we want to go horsebacking, but don't you think that one of your snappy carriages with its heraldic adornments in the byway of Walworth or Mile End would attract too much attention for our purpose? It seems to me that we ought to take cabs when we go south or east, and even then leave them somewhere near the neighborhood we're going to. Okay, cool. And that's the only one for this chapter. Chapter 22, yes, indeed. Okay. Fan off. 10 seconds. Look here, old fellow. It is a capital idea to drop your keyboard and make a big clunky noise while you're recording. Sorry, Matt. Start again. Look here, old fellow. It is a capital idea to have all ready in case we want to go horsebacking, but don't you think that one of your snappy carriages with its heraldic adornments in a byway of Walworth or Mile End would attract too much attention for our purpose? It seems to me that we ought to take cabs when we go south or east, and even leave them somewhere near the neighborhood we are going to. Once more. Look here, old fellow. It is a capital idea to have all ready in case we want to go horsebacking, but don't you think that one of your snappy carriages with its heraldic adornments in a byway of Walworth or Mile End would attract too much attention for our purpose? It seems to me that we ought to take cabs when we go south or east, and even leave them somewhere near the neighborhood we are going to. Nice. And that was 22. I'm immediately going to turn on the fan. Oh, my word. Okay, 22. C21 Masters, C22 Masters. There we go. And C22 copy. There we go. Okay. Next chapter. Oh, yeah. Okay, so they're watching over Mina, obviously. There's nothing. There we go. 6 bucks and each destroyed them all. Destroyed for him. We were silent for a minute, and then Quincy said, "Oh, there's nothing to do but wait here. If, however, he doesn't turn up by 5 o'clock, we must start off, for it won't do to leave Mrs. Harker alone after sunset." No. Okay, we'll have to find that. Hush. Exclamation. go. There we go. Later, I must have fallen asleep, for I was awakened by Mina, who was sitting up in bed with a startled look on her face. I could see easily, for we did not leave the living room in darkness. She had placed a warning hand over my mouth, and now she whispered in my ear, "Hush, there is someone in the corridor." I got up softly and crossed the room and gently opened the door. Just outside, stretched on a mattress, lay Mr. Morris, wide awake. He raised a warning hand for silence as he whispered to me, "Hush, go back to bed. It's all right. One of us will be here all night. We don't mean to take any chances." All right, nice and quiet for that first one. Sorry, the second one. I understand. There we go. Tsarina Catherine left the Thames yesterday morning. Oh my God, the Tsars were still in charge of Russia. Wow, this book is old. This is before the revolution, before the uprising, where they overthrew the monarchs and established communism in Russia, which was very quickly taken over by all the worst people. Because if you leave a power vacuum without having something ready to put in its place, all you're going to do is open it up for the biggest bastards. And that's who took over the initial Communist Party. And then later on, after the breakdown of the worst of it, right, Stalinist communism. Sorry, I'm getting very much off track here. But after that broke down, you can read Animal Farm if you want to know more. Because, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Except all you have to remember is that the people that are in charge now were the KBG under old Russian communism. They were the secret police and the biggest bastards in the country. Yeah, so fun. I understand that the Count comes from a wolf country, and it may be that he shall get there before us. I propose that we add Winchesters to our armament. I have a kind of belief in a Winchester when there is any trouble of that sort around. Do you remember, Art, when we had the pack after us at Tobolsk? Well, we wouldn't have given then for a repeater apiece. Ah, were the Winchesters the first repeating rifle, maybe? Or perhaps the first good ones or something like that. Not sure. Now, what shall we do exactly? Is that just down here, maybe? No, okay. What shall we do exactly? Okay. Falling back on a pillar. They don't know when out of a little blind. And they're angry with the elements. We want the time. There's no chance. Also, Vanna was ready back. The Williams as the ship arrives. Mina has a psychic link with Dracula, her master, so she's reporting on his movements. What shall we do exactly? Laconic, easy. I shall not wait for any opportunity. There we are. I shall not wait for any opportunity. When I see the box, I shall open it and destroy the monster, though there were 1,000 men looking on, and if I am to be wiped out for it the next moment. Yeah, fuck that guy. I'm gonna mess him up real bad. Gonna take that pretty little vampire face. Oh, you like Twilight, do you? I'm gonna smash Twilight's face right in with the butt of my repeater. Bam, bam, bam! There you go. What team are you on now, Susan? Sorry, I don't know where that went. I go a little bit crazy. Okay, so 23. Who the hell is Susan? Anyway, all right. Susan is the fan of Twilight that I was talking about. There's nothing to do but wait here. Okay, here we go. Let's, just for fun, turn off the fan and have 10 seconds of silence. Well, there's nothing to do but wait here. If, however, he doesn't turn up by 5 o'clock, we must start off, for it won't do to leave Mrs. Harker alone after sunset. Oh, drop my mouse. Hush, go back to bed. It's all right. One of us will be here all night. We don't mean to take any chances. Hush, go back to bed. It's all right. One of us will be here all night. We don't mean to take any chances. I understand that the Count comes from a wolf country, and that it may be that he shall get there before us. I propose that we add Winchesters to our armament. I have a kind of belief in a Winchester when there is any trouble of that sort around. Do you remember, Art, when we had the pack after us at Tobolsk? Well, we wouldn't have given then for a repeater apiece. What shall we do exactly? I shall not wait for any opportunity. When I see the box, I shall open it and destroy the monster, though there were 1,000 men looking on, and if I am to be wiped out for it the next moment. Once more, just in case of clipping. I shall not wait for any opportunity. When I see the box, I shall open it and destroy the monster, though there were 1,000 men looking on, and if I am to be wiped out for it the next moment. It looks like it might be clipping on the 1,000, so I'll just record that bit again, sorry. Though there were 1,000 men looking on. Okay. $23. Fan. Oh, he'll blow every one of us. Wait a minute. That is not how I intended that to come out. Oh dear. 23 master. Let's just make sure it was 23, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Good, good, good. And this is my preferred method of recording a character, by the way. If you get the voice and you've got it solid, try and record all of it in one push, and then the voice stays the same. I've said it before on these streams, but I'll say it again. If you listen to Brave New World, pay attention to John the Savage's voice when he first shows up, and then compare it to the end of the book. It's completely different. I messed up so bad. This was before I knew this trick, you see. So John's voice changed as the book went on. Anyway, I actually had a comment once from someone saying, "Oh, I love how you changed his voice as the book went on, really showing how he became more conservative or, you know, civilized and all that." And I was like, yes, that's what it was. It wasn't just me messing up real bad. No, it was an artistic choice. Yes, that's the one. Anyway. Alright, so, just 3 chapters to go. Boom, boom, boom! Let's get this shit done! 10 seconds. Oh, silence. Wait, no, first we have to research what's going on. What is that time? What is that way? What is the way which may not take? I may die now, either by my own hand or that of another, before the greater evil is entirely wrought. I know and you know that were I once dead, you could and would set free my immortal spirit, even as you did poor Lucy's. Were death or the fear of death the only thing that stood in the way, I would not shrink to die here now amidst the friends who love me. But death is not all. I cannot believe that to die in such a case, when there is hope before us and bitter task to be done, is God's will. Therefore, I, on my part, give up here the certainty of eternal rest, and go out into the dark, where maybe the blackest thing is the world, or near the whole world holds. We were all silent, for I knew instinctively that this was only a prelude. The face of the others was set, and Harker's grew ashen grey. Right. That's what I can give into the hodgepodge. I could but no quaint legal phrase which is used in such a place with all seriousness. What will each of you give? Your lives, I know. That is easy for brave men. Your lives are God's, and you can give them back to him. But what will you give to me? She looked again questioningly, but this time avoided her husband's face. Quickly seemed to understand. He nodded, and her face lit up. Then I shall tell you plainly what I want, for there must be no doubtful matter in this connection between us now. You must promise me, one and all, even you, my beloved husband, that should the time come, you will kill me. What is that time? Okay, that's the time. When the time comes? What time? What do you mean? All right. I am only a rough fellow. I am only... what? I'm only a rough fellow. No, I'm only. There we go. Oh, it is next. Okay. When I am I'm only a rough fellow who hasn't perhaps lived as a man should win such a distinction, but I swear to you by all that I hold sacred and dear that, should the time ever come, I will blow your fucking face off. Yeah. Yeah! Alright. And that's it? That's 25. Okay, great. Okay. Fan off for no readily apparent reason, and coincidentally, 10 seconds of silence. What is that time? What is that time? What is that time? I'm only a rough fellow who hasn't perhaps lived as a man should to win such a distinction, but I swear to you by all that I hold sacred and dear that should the time ever come, I shall not flinch from that duty that you have set us, and I promise you, too, that I shall make all certain, for if I am only doubtful, I shall take it that the time has come. Okay. Sorry, once more. I'm only a rough fellow who hasn't perhaps lived as a man should to win such a distinction, but I swear to you, by all that I hold sacred and dear, that should the time ever come, I shall not flinch from the duty that you have set us, and I promise you, too, that I shall make all certain, for if I am only doubtful, I shall take it that the time has come. Just that last line again. And I promise you, too, that I shall make all certain, for if I am only doubtful, I shall take it that the time has come. Okay, and that's 25, isn't it? Yes. Okie dokie. Turn on the fan. There we go. Okay, I'm wearing the Masters. 25. New Quincy. 25 Master. There we go. Sport the web. Go back. Find 25. New Quincy. 25 copy. There we go. Alright, 2 chapters to go. And horses to follow on the bank, lest by chance he'll land. And horses. Once more our teacher, her eyes have been where we were blinded. Now we are back on the track once again, and this time we may succeed. Our enemy is at his most helpless. Then we will come on by day on the water. Our task will be over. He has a start, but he is powerless to hasten. This is the big race to Castle Dracula. If they can get him before he makes it there, they will mess him up. If he makes it to the castle, he gets to reset and come back in full power. And it's going to be terrible. Terrible! For them to suspect would be to promptly to throw him in the stream where he perished. This he knows and will not. Now, men, to our council of war, for here and now we must plan what each and all shall do. I shall get a steam launch and follow him, said Lord Godalming, and our horses to follow on the bank, lest by chance he land. Okay, easy. I have brought some Winchesters. They're pretty handy in a crowd. Whew! What is this, Columbine? Okay, I have brought... There we go. Okay, it's just there. Good. Good, Bosch, good. But neither must go alone. They must be forced to overcome force if need be. The Slovak is strong and rough, and he carries rude arms. All the men smiled like psychos, for amongst them they carried a small arsenal. Said Mr. Morris, I brought some Winchesters. They're pretty handy in a crowd, and there may be wolves. The Count, if you remember, took some other precautions. He made some requisitions on others that Mrs. Harker could not quite hear or understand. We must be ready at all points. Okay. What he means by handy in a crowd there, of course, is that they're repeaters. They're quick to reload. You don't have to, I don't know. What came between black powder rifles and repeaters? I don't know. There must be a gap in there, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, there you go. I'm not big on gun history, I have to confess. Okay, chapter 26. You ready? 10 seconds! And our horses to follow on the bank, lest by chance he land. I have brought some Winchesters. They're pretty handy in a crowd, and there may be wolves. The Count, if you remember, took some other precautions. He made some requisitions on others that Mrs. Harker could not quite hear or understand. We must be ready at all points. Once again. I brought some Winchesters. They're pretty handy in a crowd, and there may be wolves. The Count, if you remember, took some other precautions. He made some requisitions on others that Mrs. Harker could not quite hear or understand. We must be ready at all points. That was 26, and we're nearly done. Fan back on. Come on, fan. There we go. Okay, chapter 26. Look how close we are to the end there. 26! There we go. And then we export to the masters. Chapter 26. New Quincy. 26 master. RR. Oh, my master. Okay, so, I mean, Quincy, he's the tragic hero, of course. I mean, we could all see that coming from the day he showed up, right? Okay, yep. A good, strong halt. Once it was I am, not I'm. Okay. There we go. Yep. He's a dying. He's a dying. What's in the English in my heart and my face? For he smiled at me and said, I'm only too happy to have been of service. Oh, God. It was worth for this to die. Look, look. Amen. Now God be thanked that all has not been in vain. See, The snow is not more stainless than her forehead. The curse has passed away. And then he shit himself, because everyone shits themselves when they die. Okay, great. Easy, easy. But, I mean easy because there's not many lines, but not easy because this is quite an emotional moment. He has sacrificed his life to save the wife of a friend of a friend. That's the sort of guy this is. And also because, you know, Dracula represented a great evil in the world. And, yeah, he would have to stop that as the hero, you know. He has not many lines. He's a small character, but very heroic. He was placed there to die heroically. So here he is, fulfilling his narrative requirements. Okay, here we go. You ready? The last section for Mr. Quincy P. Morris. Preluded by 10 seconds of silence. Halt! Halt! I am only too happy to have been of service. Oh, God! It was worth for this to die. Look! Look! Amen. Now God be thanked that all has not been in vain. See! The snow is not more stainless than her forehead. The curse has passed away. I'll do all of that again. Halt! I am only too happy to have been of service. Oh, God! It was worth for this to die. Look! Look! Amen. Now God be thanked that all this has not been in vain. See, the snow is not more stainless than her forehead. The curse has passed away. Oh, my balls, please. You're kneeling on my balls. Oh, the pain. The pain. All right. Sorry, I find it hard to do emotional bits without being extremely silly afterwards. So that's it. That's the end of Quincy P. Morris for Dracula the novel. Thank you very much for your attention, everybody. And that is, of course, Chapter 27, the end of the book. My word. What an epic job this has been. C27 Master. New Quincy. Okay. Oh my God. We made a mistake. We accidentally deleted it. That's alright. It's still there. It's still there. We go desktop and we find, where is it? Current audio book. Dracula working. Masters. 27 New Quincy Master. Go back to normal one, chapter 27. No, don't open the file, you idiot. Hey, do what I tell you to do. It is. That's the problem with computers. They all do what you tell them to do, whether that's what you should be doing or not. Whether it's what you want or not. All right, so that is it, folks. Thank you very much for joining me. That was a pretty big one today, hey? We have just recorded an entire character for a novel. Granted, it was the smallest character in the novel, but still, very cool to get it all done. And that's one more character down, one that we don't have to worry about. And I can go through on the progress sheet and say Mr. Quincy is done. Thank you very much for coming along and watching this video afterwards or during or whatever was happening. I hope you have yourself a wonderful day and that you found this moderately interesting. And we will see you for the next session or the next study session or the next gaming session soon. Thanks very much, folks. Bye, 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 bye.